that was the constant heaviness where I was very successful. I was top in my country, my company, top in the company across the US. I was top, but no one came to me for counsel. Their egos wouldn't allow them. And so I was always going home and go, what can I do? How can I be nicer? How can I be more feminine? How can I ask them to this? How can I this? And I just started realizing that it's their loss if they don't want to ask me how.
Welcome to the Fun and Bliss Show,
where fun is our practice
and bliss is our lifestyle.
I'm Monick.
And I'm Moneeka.
This is a show to help you laugh louder,
dance more often,
savor the silly and sacred alike,
and turn fun into a blissipline,
so we can live lives of more ease, love, prosperity, and joy.
Let's go! Hello, everybody. This is Moneeka.
And this is Monick. Welcome to the Fun and Bliss Show, where fun becomes a practice and bliss becomes a lived experience.
This is a space for women who are successful on paper and curious about how to live and lead with more ease, fulfillment, and presence in real life.
Today, we are joined by the incredible Lady Jen Du Plessis, who's a former mortgage executive turned scaling architect, speaker, and mentor who helps leaders grow businesses that actually support the life they want to live. What we love about Jen is that she brings serious strategic rigor and a very human understanding of what it costs to build success without enough space, ease, or enjoyment along the way. And this has felt like a perfect fun and bliss conversation to have.
Yeah, and we love Jen, by the way. We both know her from other podcasts.
Yeah, I always smile when I see you. I always smile. That's a good thing, right? When someone calls or someone emails or texts and you're like, I like them, I'm going to answer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that definitely happened instantly. So thank you. Thank you for being that friend.
And Jen, it's so interesting that I feel like we don't get to talk very often, but every time we do, it's two girlfriends getting back together.
Right back to square one.
It's
I know.
So lovely. So Thank you. And thank you so much for being a yes for today's show.
Of course. My pleasure.
Monick, I'm going to let you start with the questions.
Yeah. Jen, we want to start at the beginning. How did you get into your line of work? What is your line of work? And where did it all start for you?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It started right after I graduated from college. I graduated with a degree in architectural design and construction engineering, and no women. I was one of 67 women in the class. And it was so hard to find a job in architecture at that time. So I had to go to an employment agency, and I landed at a mortgage company in 1983, knowing nothing about mortgages, didn't know how to spell it, all of that. And that's where it all started, right? And the rest is history. I spent 35 years in the industry, generated over 400 million in revenue, funded over $1 billion in loans, became the cream of the crop in the industry. And that's where it started, right? It all just started there. I just kept plugging along. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. And then I elevated myself to the top 200 loan officers out of 1 million in the country. Next thing I know, everybody was clamoring, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? How'd you do it? So I had to make a decision, either that trajectory where I can coach people on how to grow businesses, because I have 4, I don't just have one, how to grow businesses, or stay in the mortgage business and still fight that fight. And I oscillated for probably 5 or 6 years and then finally made that split about 10 years ago. So that's where it all started, right? Is wow, I didn't know I was going to be a scaling and a business or elite business coach. That certainly wasn't my plan, but I'm so glad that I'm not in the mortgage business now, because my life is so much better. It was great for me, but I'm just done, right? Yeah. After 35 years of doing anything, you just want to be done.
Yeah, for me, it's closer to 5. So you're amazing. So tell us about, when you think back to that early chapter, those early years, what did success look like for you? And Jen, did fun and ease fit in there at all?
When I look way back, I was probably 29 or so. I'm 62 now, so I was 29. And I was wearing those 2-piece suits that we always wore, right? With the little things. And my idea of success was owning a Mont Blanc pen, because everybody owned a Mont Blanc pen and had a BMW, but they called it Beamer, right? Mm-hmm. Had a Beamer, had a Mont Blanc pen, and had a car bag phone.
I remember mine was actually screwed into the car, but yes.
Yeah. And so for me, that was the thing. So I finally got the Mont Blanc pen. And I remember I think it was like $197 back then. And that was like the thing, right? And I got that pen. And every time I met with a client, I would unscrew it in front of them and I would show them that I'm writing with a Mont Blanc pen, until one day I had screwed it on and taken it off so many times. I yanked on it and I had a red suit on and it went everywhere. It went in my hair and my eyes, all over the place. And I was so embarrassed. And I was like, I just was absolutely devastated. But that was the moment I said, hey, someone else's definition of success is not my definition. So what is it I want? What is it I want to create? Not what everyone else does. So I never played in that place again. So up until then, I would say it was not fun, right? Because I was in a woman in a man's world, not showing emotions, making sure I'm very mechanical. I just lead with the facts, ma'am, still feminine, but just making sure that no one could come back to me and say, you're just a woman, or put your big girl panties on, whatever the case may be. So it wasn't that fun until I just stepped out and said, I'm going to create what I want to create, not what everybody else says I need to create.
What was working really well on the outside at the time, but heavier or less fulfilling on the inside?
Yeah, it's feeling unworthy, right? Not good enough, because all the guys would go golfing. I hate golf. I just do. I'm sorry, everybody. It's just too slow for me. I play tennis. I like the back and forth. Yeah, it was just trying to be somebody that I wasn't. And that was the constant heaviness, where I was very successful. I was top in my company, top in the company across the US. I was top, but no one came to me for counsel. Their egos wouldn't allow them. And so I was always going home and go, what can I do? How can I be nicer? How can I be more feminine? How can I ask them to this? How can I this? And I just started realizing that it's their loss if they don't want to ask me how. And whether that was a man or woman, it's their loss. And I've contended with this all my life, because I was Miss Colorado Springs and runner-up Miss Colorado. And everyone has always said to me, you intimidate people and try not to look so pretty, try not to this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that for anybody. I'm going to be me. And by the way, this is not me. It's my mom and dad. I have nothing to do with it. So I had to start laying my own path on what success looked like for me.
So talk to us a little bit about what feels different internally from all of that, from creating this new life.
Oh yeah. First of all, I was in the hustle of do the thing. Cause I said, everybody says, the gurus, your managers, everybody says, go do networking, go talk to people, do one-to-ones, do all that, follow through, follow up, work your butt off. And I was working 8 days a week. And what I mean by that is, have you ever sat, or not sat, but laid in bed and you wrote down your to-do list? That's 8 days a week, because you're working while you're sleeping, right? And you wake up in the morning and you're reading your notes and they're all crooked. And you're like, I don't know what I said. But I was working 8 days a week and I really wanted to be in harmony, right? I didn't want just harmony. I wanted to make money and still be in harmony. And my goal was to stop with all the excuses, stop missing things. I can't tell you how many times I had dinner by myself because my husband goes, look, we just gave up on you. And excuses why I'm late for the recital, and excuses why I can't come to the game because my client needs me. And that was all the hustle that I was in. And when I started making the change and developing the process that I use with my clients and started working on the harm money, I was working less, I was making more, and I was super happy.
Yeah. So talk to us a little more about that. Like, how does fun and ease and enjoyment show up in your life now with all this success?
Yeah, I have a mantra in my business that people should stop working in and on their business. I hear this all the time. I was on a call the other day and they're like, don't work in your business, work on. And I just wanted to grab them and say, don't do that either. It was me elevating, right? Not working harder, not working smarter, but working higher and elevating my skill set of management and leadership and team building and systems and all of those pieces. My practice, everybody has systems in their practice, right? Elevating all of those things so that instead of working in and on your business, you're living above and beyond your business. And that's what I help people do, is bridge that gap, get out of the daily minutia And so now I tap into each one of my businesses each day of the week. So Mondays are one business, Tuesdays are another, Wednesday, Thursday are another, and I don't work on Fridays. I still haven't for years and years. Now I can choose to, right? Everyone always says, I have to. No, you get to. And I'm saying, no, you choose to. So I can choose to work late. I can choose to do those things now because a lot of times I'm traveling around all over the country and all over the world speaking. And then I'm reminded that I actually have a business because I'm having so much fun all the time. So yeah, that's what is important to us, is having a lot of fun in what we're doing.
Talk a little bit more about that. So, how do you incorporate the fun into what you're doing, and how does that work with the harmony that you
Yeah.
talk to your
Yeah.
clients?
When you're above your business, you are empowering your team. When you're on your business, your team is enabled and you can't you can't pull away. So you try to pull away from your team and say, okay, I built the team. Now I can go out and generate more business. I can go out and play golf. I can go on vacation, etc. But if you've enabled them and you've not empowered them through a series of steps, then you're never going to be able to disconnect or untether yourself from your business. So that's what we work on, is how do we untether from our business where we don't have to be the decision maker every day, that everyone has my voice. When you go to Starbucks, they say, what can we get started for you? When you go to McDonald's, they say, can we take your order? When you go to Walmart, they say, welcome to Walmart. Every company has a voice. And making sure that your team has your voice, and when they have it, it's bliss. It's
Love
bliss because
that.
now they can make decisions on my behalf. And they know, I've trained them, right, that this one I need to make, this one you can make. So they know that, but it takes some time to really get that going, to make sure that every team member has that, so that you can go live your life. And I think when people think scaling, they think, I don't know how, if I can't handle any more business. I can't. But I help people scale without sacrificing their personal life. We build the team to help them, whether it's digital, hybrid, it doesn't matter. You can't do it alone. No one can build a business alone. And a lot of people think they can. I've even had people say, the only reason you did 100 million a year is because you have a team. And I would say, yeah,
Absolutely.
that's how I did it. That's how I did it. I don't want to be sitting in front of the computer all day. I don't want to get my health bad. So yeah, so that, hopefully that answered your question, Monique, because yeah, it's just taking that step. And then what is your beyond, right? Everyone's beyond is different. It might be a new business. It might be investing in real estate. It might be doing charity work, which I do a lot of. That's the pull. The pull is, why did I create this business? So I could do X. Let's get you doing X and step away from the daily routines.
Love that.
Jen, that sent shivers on my spine. That was so good.
Thank you.
So talk to us a little bit, as a scaling architect, where do you see fun and lightness actually making leaders better? You know that I believe that bliss makes us clearer, more creative, and more resourceful. Monique believes the same of fun, right? Which is true. So how do you see this making people better leaders?
Yeah, I'm known as the scaling architect, but I'm also known as the sovereign leadership mentor. So having been knighted several years ago, I started thinking, wow, years ago, I was mechanics because I was in the mode of that hustle and around all these men. And it was like, just do the thing. And then one day I realized I needed to have some mindset. And at that time, it was all that woo stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't do that. I come from corporate. We don't do woo. But I realized that here's what I realized. My IQ is 187. I have a very high IQ. I realized I didn't have any EQ. And so I had to start developing that by creating that mindset and stepping away from the do. So when we look at sovereign leadership, it's wielding a sword. You can fight till the cows come home. You can win battles, but you're still going to be weary. It's knowing when to step back and say, now what we're going to do is we're going to carry the scepter and we're going to look at what we truly want. Right? What do we want? That beyond for them, that bliss. What do you really want? And what's going to get you up every day? Not motivate you, but inspire you. Because inspiration comes from inside. Motivation comes from outside. So you could listen and say, I'm so motivated, but it will be short lived. If I can inspire you to look at your practice and say, I don't have to wield a sword every day. I don't have to do all the numbers. I don't have to be the one to do it. Give it, let me do it. Right. I don't have to be that. I can step back. I can slow down to speed up instead of speeding up to slow down. I can do that. And when I step back, I'm Christian, so it's a biblical, right? Be still and know that I am God. When we have that time to be still, we get downloads of what we truly want. And it was all masked for me, all masked. Les Brown says, if you're casual about your business, will become a casualty. And I said to him, I said, there's nothing casual about what I'm doing. I'm working my butt off. And he said, yeah, but you're skimming the surface. And that's when I stepped back and said, wait a minute, what do I really want? And for me, it was having an elite business. And I had to look up the word. And then my definition was having the character, being the best in my field to my clients, being the best of the best, doing what I say I'm going to do. And then I started thinking, hey, all the people I'm hanging around with, are they casual about their business? And it's a casualty. Maybe I need to figure out who the people are that I want to work with and start focusing on working with people that complement instead of complicate me and my practice, because a lot of the hustle was everybody clamoring to get things that they needed because they didn't have their act together. So I lost a lot of relationships. I let go of a lot of relationships because they weren't serving me. They weren't allowing me to get where I wanted to go in my life.
I love that.
Yeah.
So between the befores, right? I'm imagining you, red suit, ink all over the place, precious pen in your hands, ink all over you.
Everywhere.
To where you are now, 4 businesses, hundreds of millions of dollars, playing tennis, knighted, when I like living this magical life.
Yeah.
There's like between that, there's usually a messy middle. So can you walk us through a decision, that transition period, right? That felt risky or uncertain at the time, but ended up changing the direction of your life or business?
Yeah, for me, this is very strategic, but being in the mortgage business, when I retired from lending, I had 18 clients and they were all mortgage loan officers. And the problem with that for me is that it's cyclical. When rates are high, they aren't doing business, and I wasn't going to rely on them to sustain my business and what I wanted in life. So making the transition to get people to understand that business is business. It doesn't matter what business, what industry you're in, and understand that just because I was in mortgages doesn't mean I don't know about business. I owned my own mortgage company. So I know about business. I own my own real estate investing firm. I own my own private equity firm. We own Airbnbs, right? So in every one of those, the in, on, above, beyond is the same for every business. So the yuckiness was getting my message to market, to the right market, switching from mortgage to anybody, not anybody, but switching to high level, high performing, savvy, tenured business owners. And I don't care if they're a loan officer, I don't care if they're a realtor, and I don't care if they're a plumber. But that was probably the messiest thing. And all of us, because we're in this space, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? In this class and that course. And I must need this and I must need that. And the sequencing was off.
Yeah.
And if anyone could teach new businesses, and I don't want to teach new businesses, but if anybody could teach new businesses, what do I do first? What do I do second? And extraction, right? It's process of elimination to go for selection. But all those courses you bought, don't get rid of them yet. But let's look at, should you be using it later? Is it going to help you later? So that was just a wonkiness. You've all done that too. It's, I'll try this message. A long time ago, I was the impact mentor. Eric Swanson gave me that title. And I was like, oh, but I don't know what I'm impacting, so I'm going to change it. So there are a lot of alliterations in what we do. And now I'm very clear who I serve.
One of the things that I can say about you, Jen, is you have really always stood for yourself. You stood for yourself when it was all men around you.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things I feel really connected to you about, is that we stand in our own footprint.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think one of
of
the
course.
things that you model so beautifully is that you give yourself permission. You give yourself permission to run your business the way that you want. You give
Mhm.
yourself permission to run the life that you want. But that's a skill, Jen. How did you start giving yourself that permission?
Yeah. For me, this goes all the way back to childhood, unfortunately, because my father was an alcoholic and my mom was a verbal abuser. And I'm one of 36 first cousins. And we were the only family that had alcoholism. We were the only family where I was the only child. So it was this black sheep thing. And my uncle had told me, you're just going to be like your father. You're going to be like your mother. You're going to be poor. You're not going to amount to anything. He used to call me Jenny, who ain't got a penny. And I would hold up pennies. No, I have pennies. I still find pennies all the time. People are like, oh, don't pick one up if it's upside down. I'm like, no, they're all pennies. My whole life was proving to people. So this over delivery, overdoing, being accepted in med school to be a cardiologist, Miss Colorado, state tennis player. I can go on and on, playing instruments in the symphony. I can go on and on. Everything that was driving me was to prove to them that I was not going to be that. And then that one day when I said, I'm done proving, and I'm going to start living, and I'm going to live on my terms. This came with maturity. It came with maturity, but it also came with me elevating my emotional quotient, right? My emotional intelligence. I started realizing that I didn't have to be a minion to anybody. I could do exactly what I wanted. No one was holding me back. No one was telling me I couldn't. My parents did. My uncle did, but no one else told me I couldn't. But I believed that I couldn't. And that the only way to show this was to over deliver, overachieve, over. And so, yeah, multifaceted. That's our racehorse right there. He was in the Kentucky Derby this year. We have 6 horses now. So we're investing in horses, mostly for breeding, but we're investing in horses. I think I've told you before, I'm an expert markswoman. I love doing anything and everything. We have shares in a vineyard. We are just looking at everything and saying, how does this amplify our life? How does this amplify what we want to accomplish? And being able to spend time with our grandkids and drop everything, get a cold, drop everything and go cuddle them and then get sick from it, that's okay. That's bliss for me because I don't want to be the grandma that wasn't there.
Jen, you mentioned something about, first of all, that's really beautiful, but you said there was that one day. Was
Yeah.
there one day?
Yeah.
Because it's so interesting. My little sister said to me once, I remember the day you switched. I literally remember the day you switched from
Yeah.
being a pleaser to I am going to please myself. Did
Yeah.
you have that one day?
Oh, I did. I definitely did. I'd had enough. And you know what's funny? I'll tell you about the day, but I hadn't perfected it. Right after that day happened, I was still that's that messiness, Monique, that you were
Yes.
asking about, right? So we went to dinner with our family, air quotes, dinner, and I got a call from a client. And I said to my husband, I promise I'm only going to be 5 minutes. I already knew I was lying. I knew I wasn't going to be right. This is the story I kept telling myself. I promise I'm only going to be 5 minutes. I'm just going to talk to him. I'm going to come right back in and then we'll have dinner and everything will be great. And I knew he knew, but I walked outside and I walked on what I call the concrete balance beam. It's a curb where we walk and talk and walk and talk. And I was walking back and forth outside of this Mexican restaurant. I was even opening the door for people and I was covering my phone and going, it's a great place. And I wasn't serving my client. I wasn't serving me because I was full of anxiety. He's going to yell at me because it's more than 5 minutes. It's the same thing that Jen does all the time. I wasn't serving my family. I wasn't taking notes. It was terrible. I wasn't present. And I looked over into the window of the restaurant and I saw my family, right? And they were doing little spit things with straws and having a good time and creating memories that I wasn't in. In fact, not too long ago, my daughter said to me, and I said, I've never parasailed. And she goes, here's the picture of you. And I go, no, that I've never parasailed. I don't even remember the holiday. I don't remember the vacation because where was I? Up in the hotel room, taking care of everybody else instead of taking care of myself and my family. And that was the moment that happened. And so right after that, I started, how can I do this 4 days a week? What's the code for the breaking this? How can I do it? And everybody in the mortgage business, they just, oh no, don't want to share anything. And I love sharing because only 10% of people do anything, right? Years later, so I built this, right? And next thing I know, I get this box in the mail at the office, and it's a small, thin box. And that thing came in, and I opened it up, and it said top 200 mortgage originators in the country. And of course, what do you think I did? I'm like, how come I'm not number one? One, two,
Of course.
50, 100. Where am I? So I was number 278, but I had funded 102 million. I had doubled my production, but I didn't even know it because I was focused on the activities and ensuring that I had boundaries around what I told people. If my family is important, then why am I working till 8 o'clock at night or midnight? If my faith is important, then why am I saying to a client, yeah, I can meet you on Sunday? So I stopped doing all of that, and it just blew up, right? So years later, we went to Europe, Brian and I did, for a month. And I was freaking out because this is before that we could use cell phones overseas and everything. I was freaking out. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But then I just let go and said, they know what they're doing. They know what's happening. It was our biggest month. It was our biggest month. We closed 82 loans.
Wow.
And so if you're making $5,000 per loan, you can calculate that, right? We closed 82 loans. And I remember, and I've got a picture of this, I was sitting inside the boutique hotel, and Brian was out on the itty bitty deck, right? Itty bitty little balcony, and he's watching people go back and forth. This was in Barcelona. And I thought, hey, this is a whole different thing, right? And I get a little emotional about this because I was watching my life from a window. And now I'm in it, right? And I said, this is our life. We created this. So instead of me not being in the memories, I am in all the memories. And it's still working without me being there every single moment of every single day.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
So we use the word blissciplines to describe those small, repeatable habits that we can use to live a life of bliss, to live the life we want. When you hear that, what comes to mind for you? And also, what are your blissciplines?
Yeah. There's a couple of things that come to mind for me. One of the things is accountability. This is a big word in our family. So from this perspective, it's more strategic. But when I think if I'm going to have a blissful life or blissful business, it's accountability, right? If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I don't have to be in a reactionary mode. I can always be in a positive outlook for everyone. So that's one of the first things that come to mind. But on the personal side, to keep that, oh my gosh, there's so many things I could tell you that I do. I read the Bible every day, right? I make sure that I start my day off properly, make sure that, and for whatever reason, God just knows I needed to read that thing today. Where in the heck, right? And it's what I need. I go through affirmations. I look through all the quotes that people do, and I've categorized them in different areas so that I can get myself excited about what I'm doing in the day. So I make sure that I'm doing that part. We go for a walk. Brian and I, whenever we're 2 to 2.5 feet apart, we kiss and we look into each other's eyes and we state a gratitude, right? So often we're like, hey, did you get the groceries? And we're not looking at each other's eyes for anything. And we started doing that so we could just show gratitude to one another. And that has been unbelievably well because it diffuses any of the angst that's in our relationship. And we work together. So we worked together for 20 some years. We've been together, but we've been married for 42 and it works. So that's a discipline that we do. And we are always going to put family first. So if I had to go tonight and take care of my grandbaby, I would have had to call you and say, look, I have to take care of my grandbaby, because otherwise that guilt comes back in for me and I just can't contend with it.
I love that. And I'm going to
Yeah,
steal that.
I
that
do too.
kissing and gratitude one.
I know. I actually did steal that. I heard that from Jen years ago. And I told my
Yeah.
husband we were going to do that. And he gave me his little waggling eyebrow thing, which is creepy, but it was so cute. And we've been doing it ever since, Jen. And it's
Yeah.
like magic. Thank you
It
for
is.
sharing.
It could be the simplest thing. Thanks for taking out the trash. Thanks for making the bed.
Yeah.
But thanks for being you. Yeah.
It's really lovely.
Yeah.
Jen, if we could shadow you for a week, not the highlight reel, but just shadow your real life, what would surprise us about how you actually live and work today?
That I only work about 4 hours a day.
Mm.
That's it. I only work about 4 hours a day. I have those boundaries that I was talking about. And if you're listening right here, set up those boundaries. I know when I want to do a podcast. I know when I want to do PowerPoint presentations, right? When I need to call someone about their late payment with their mortgage. I have it so structured. And I think that a lot of people think that's a prison, but it's actually the most freeing thing because you get in, get it done. It's intention, right? Intention is everything. And if you're not intentional, then the whole day can take over. And so I'm extremely intentional. I get in, I do my work, and then I go play and have fun. I'm a competitive ballroom, Latin, and swing dancer. So I go and I dance, or we'll go on a walk, or we'll go see the horses, or I'll go play with the grandkids and take them to the park. But yeah, I think you would find that I'm walking and talking the thing I'm telling you about right now. I just get in, do the work, and get out. I assign and delegate and get out.
Love it.
Yes.
Oh, so good. Okay, we're going to end with our Fun and Bliss laser round. So, question one, what's something you do now purely because it's fun that your younger self would have considered completely impractical?
Oh God, impractical. Spending my inheritance or the inheritance of my kids. Right? Or I would say, don't spend anything, just save for them. But now I'm going, wait a minute, don't I get happiness? Can't I go on trips? And I was just saying, hey, we're building that nest egg for them. But we have built such great kids, right? My son's business is an Inc. 500 company. I'm his coach. My daughter is she does sales training for companies. I'm her coach. They've already created the legacy. So it's time for me to spend it.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
To enjoy life while I can. Yeah.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
What's a belief about success that you have had to completely let go of?
Your definition of success is not mine. Comparison is the thief of joy. And I want to be clear about what it is for me. It used to be that it was the definition everyone gave me, as I talked about previously, but now it's not that. It's not that. Happiness and success. I'm successful without any money. I'm successful with money. I'm successful because I've got beautiful kids. I've got a great husband. I have a home. I have homes. I've just realized that I can't live through someone else's success and compare myself to people.
Love it. What's one small thing that instantly shifts your energy when things feel heavy?
Dancing. Dancing. When everything's heavy and I'm too ingrained in something, I turn on music and I dance. Dancing, just all the endorphins go. You don't think of anything except what you're doing. So dancing. Yeah.
Love it.
And Jen, finish this sentence. Bliss for me looks like
being able to choose what I want to do every day. Yeah. That's what it looks like for me, is having the choice, being in a position where I can choose to do whatever I want every single day. I can choose to do or not to do, but that I love. That to me is the Halm money.
That's the magic, getting to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, for as long as you want.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you
awesome.
so much for sharing that.
Yeah,
of course.
Before we close up, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you and find out more about what you do?
Yeah, the best way is just to go to jenduplessis.com and you can connect with me. You can see what I'm up to. Yeah, that's the best place to go. It's just that easy.
Awesome. And we'll put the link in the show notes.
Yeah. And Jen, this really has been such a grounded and refreshing conversation, as all of them are with you. It's such a delight to share you with our audience. Thank you for bringing both depth and humanity and fun and modeling bliss into this space. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank
It means a
you.
lot.
Thank you so much. And for everyone listening, if this conversation resonated with you, we invite you to join us inside the Fun and Bliss Collective, a space where fun-loving, fun fanatics, blissed out people can explore fun as a practice and bliss as a lived experience together. And you can try it for 14 days for just $1, and the link is in the show notes.
There you go. Beautiful.
We're so excited to see you there.
Yes.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
everybody. We will see you soon. Bye until next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Fun and Bliss Show.
Where fun is our practice.
And bliss is our lifestyle.
If this episode sparked your joy,
Share it, subscribe, and join the movement.
stay fun,
Stay blissful.
and see you next time.